here's the,
Okay, this comes out of a book called The Pleasures of Your Processor by Noreen Gillitz, who was a friend of ours, who was a cookbook writer here in Montreal. And this is the very beginning when food processors came out. So this, well, I guess we'll go back to this at the end. This is just the instructions with my little notes all over the place. Came right out of the book. So here is the ingredients. Basically, it's sour cream, cream cheese, eggs, chocolate chips, butter, sugar, cinnamon. Most of the stuff you would have around is one container there of whipping cream, but that's just for topping. And the hardest thing to find here is to see that blue box of chocolate wafer crackers. And I don't know how hard it is in what states to find it. Up here, Mr. Christie makes it. I don't know what brand they make in the States, but basically it's a thin chocolate wafer that kind of tastes like the outside of an Oreo cookie.
but better. I like it better.
And not as sweet.
No, yeah,
Not
not
as
sweet,
sweet,
not
yeah.
as sweet, exactly.
Yeah, it's not very,
So then that's interesting to say that because the very first thing you do is you crumble, and can you go to the next picture? Oh, for some reason, he's caught up on the chocolate chips. You can see what his favorite part is. Yeah, so I melted the chocolate chips, and if any of you have ever not melted chocolate, you have to be really careful about melting chocolate that it doesn't seize. And seizing means it comes apart. The fat separates from the chocolate. So I just do it in tiny little increments in the microwave at 30 seconds, and I mix it with a spoon in 30 seconds until it's almost all the chips are melted, and then I just use the spoon to melt the rest of it. So just so it doesn't seize up. Okay, so
there are my favorite little chocolates.
Okay, so what they're in the Cuisinart because we're gonna make that into crumbs to form the base of the cake. And then this is the part where everybody steals the cookies and eats them. Okay, so that's what they look like. So they're crumbs, but you've got butter in there, you've got cinnamon, and I think a little bit of sugar. Yeah, there it is, the cinnamon, sugar, and butter, and we're just pouring that all into the Cuisinart, mixing it all up. And then you just press it into the bottom of a springform pan, but on the left, you reserved 1/3 cup. You're going to sprinkle all over the top at the end. Then basically just take the Cuisinart again, and he's mixing up here the cream cheese. So it was just 2 packs of cream cheese there. And I generally cut it up into chunks and put it in the Cuisinart. So and I let it get to room temperature, so it just gets easier to whip it up. It says put eggs in one at a time, but I just do it all at once. And then you mix in that melted chocolate, and then you give it to your husband to lick out the bowl. That's his favorite part. This is a sour cream going in.
Is in?
And that's what it looks like. So it kind of has a lighter brown color when you pour it, but it's really pretty dark when you bake it. And those are the crumbs that we've had left from the bottom. And you just kind of, put it in your fingers and scrunch it all over the top. That's it baked, so it doesn't look very much different from the unbaked, but you can see the crack. Now, the part that isn't done here yet is, I know it sounds hard to understand, but in order to cut the richness of it, you actually put whipped cream on top. So you would put a dollop of whipped cream on each piece as you serve it. It sounds totally backwards that you would add whipped cream to cut the richness, but somehow it works. It's kind of like having a glass of milk with chocolate cookies. You just put it down. So you would put one, so for people who don't want whipped cream, they don't have to put it on top. They could just eat it. And it's the kind of cake that would serve 16 because it's very rich.
Why don't you go back to that picture of it cooked in the pan?
Okay.
Okay. I'm trying.
I actually still have the cake because we're bringing it tomorrow to someone for Father's Day. Because Stan got a chocolate chip crumb cake for his Father's Day.
Oh, nice. Well, Stan, okay. I'm sorry, you know what? You don't need to do it. I just was thinking.
This is the recipe.
Oh, there I am at the recipe.
Okay.
Second, let me get it.
Does anyone have any
Later.
questions about the recipe while he finds it?
No, I have it. It's just that I have to.
No, but if you could email that to me separately,
I will.
okay, that would be great.
I
That would be.
I have
Yes,
a question. What is this?
we can't hear her.
Gail, you're not coming, your connection is not good.
I think she's coming.
Kathleen, ask her to send it as a chat question.
Oh, okay, yes, can you do a chat question, Gail? Your sound is not good.
There are two places where steel knife is it.
Whoops.
Okay.
Okay, just stop here. Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead. Is someone ask? You see, I crossed off the icing sugar. I don't put icing sugar in my whipped cream. I figured there's enough sugar in the cake. And then all I did was I had circled the melt chocolate chips in low heat and cool, and I put that up at top because it's the first thing you want to do. You want it to be cool before you do it. So I do it at the beginning. I don't know why the recipe calls for it at that point.
I can't find my picture.
Okay. Well, it looks delicious. And so when Sandra and I were talking about this recipe beforehand, and she was talking about these wafers, our family, when I was growing up, our family traditional birthday cake was those wafers.
Stop. Okay, you can see it in the picture. You can see the bottom of the blue box and you see wafer and
Look.
go back. A wafer and a white line and wafer and a white line. And I think that's what you're describing. So go ahead.
Yes, and you make it at least 24 hours ahead of time because it's just whipped cream and the wafers, and it expands. So the wafers end up being, they like double or triple their size.
They become the cake. So
And it becomes the cake,
There
and
it
you
is.
cut the cake on an angle, and so you have these stripes coming through. That anyway.
that's what she's talking about here.
Yes, and Nabisco makes them, and it's not at eye level. It's up usually higher on the shelf,
Yeah.
and they're not
Here too.
many. Yeah.
I guess just all the old people reach for the care less about it. Although we brought it to a granddaughter yesterday. We have an egg allergy kid, and we realized it had no eggs in it. And she was really happy with them.
Oh, I bet. Yes.
I love them. I just snack on like
And they're-
one at a time, one a day.
And in terms of, I'm going to diet-wise, I think 5 are only about 120 calories. So, it kind of lasts longer.
Yeah.
Okay, and you do use semi-sweet morsels, not milk chocolate.
Right, because
Okay.
like a dark chocolate cake.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I'm looking forward to trying that. That
Yeah,
just.
it's pretty simple. Basically, you just dump everything in the Cuisinart, whip it, and pour it.
That's my kind of recipe right there.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's a little after 7, and so we can stay on, but I do need to sort of do a formal, thank you, Stan and Sandra, for sharing the recipe. I really do appreciate that.